The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Hey folks, we're back from the holidays and it's time to get down to business. While we were away, a huge Reddit leak popped up and covered all sorts of topics to why The Rise of Skywalker was a nightmare to work on. We have a video for that in production, but something juicy popped up and well, if your definition of juicy is stupid, prepare to drown yourself in the sweet nectar that is Star Wars. Allegedly, and yes, I know we've been using that word a lot, but it is a rumor. Allegedly, there's a 192-minute cut of The Rise of Skywalker coming to theaters sooner than we think. I know, hold the applause. I can't imagine living in a world where people don't want more Rise of Skywalker, but Disney gives you more because of money and, well, that's the case. If The Rise of Skywalker demand was so high, the film wouldn't be the lowest grossing of the sequel trilogy. If we take a look at this image, we can see that in the same 3-week window, The Rise of Skywalker is significantly lower than The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and even Rogue One is ahead of the film. Only Solo made less because #Solo lost money. Now I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's take a look at the rumor and then I'll break down why it's a desperate attempt to help The Rise of Skywalker cross that $1 billion mark. This comes from SNTS. The 192-minute J.J. Abrams' Rise of Skywalker cut is coming sooner than you think. 3 hours and 12 minutes. According to an anonymous source, inside multiple organizations like Lucasfilm, Disney, and Bad Robot, and confirmed through additional reports like Deadline's interview with The Rise of Skywalker editor Marianne Brandon, J.J. Abrams and the Rise of Skywalker team struggled with wanting to release the cut that more closely matched the director's vision, but were disallowed from doing so. That cut, the J.J. Abrams director's cut, is clocking in at no less than 192 minutes. But why? If there was a more complete cut that could include all the amazing moments J.J. wanted fans to see, would the final theatrical version be less than? For what inane reason would such a short-sighted decision have been made? I won't make you wait for it. The reason? Disney brass were so concerned after The Last Jedi divided fans and created a maelstrom of anger towards director Rian Johnson that they didn't want to leave anything up to chance. An insider tells The Story Is Not the Story that they wanted to ensure that The Rise of Skywalker wrapped up the trilogy neatly without creating any conflicts with fans of the original 3 films, through delivering moments that brought back classic characters, introduced special Jedi powers, and reversed the Luke Skywalker moments that fans couldn't stomach. They also didn't want a film that was over 3 hours, which would have reduced the number of times the film could have been screened on a daily basis in theaters, thus reducing the potential box office. And with The Last Jedi having divided fans, the last thing Disney wanted was to divide them any further, but they lost their way. Even Disney's Bob Iger had admitted to the brand's oversaturation after Solo and didn't want to saturate the brand any further by delivering a cut they weren't sure could get it done. Disney didn't even know what the fans wanted anymore. They were shooting fish in a barrel. If this final movie was also a misstep, they'd want to bag as much money as they could as quickly as they could, and a 3-hour-plus cut wouldn't let them do that. For J.J. Abrams, it was whiplash. Disney wanted to deliver a movie that would make up for the last one, but after all the sequences and cameos were shot, they were told it wouldn't fit into the 140-minute goal they didn't want to exceed. And exceed they did. The cameos and callbacks were so numerous, it was so much to pack into a film, yet JJ didn't want to let anyone down. Some felt that they have overdone the fan service to the point of ridiculousness, mandating the return of characters like Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, Samuel L. Jackson's Mace Windu, Liam Neeson's Qui-Gon Jinn, Jake Lloyd's Anakin Skywalker, and even a trip back to the Sarlacc pit. Jake Lloyd? There were sequences that were shot on Endor that were referenced in The Rise of Skywalker, yet only showed up in a 3-second wide shot featuring some of the Ewoks. While Disney did mandate the return for the Emperor, there were even more characters who landed in footage that was cut out of the final release. A Cloud City reference brought back Lobot alongside Billy D. Williams, but was cut for time. A Wampa cameo was removed at the last minute, and a secret Boba Fett connection was said to have also been written, shot, but never finished in post. But let's get back to that 192-minute J.J. Abrams cut. According to the editor of The Rise of Skywalker, Marianne Brandon, they barely had time to get their current cut into theaters. They wanted to do so much more. As was witnessed by the rushed opening of the film, and according to anonymous sources on the inside, as the reviews and backlash had begun to build around The Rise of Skywalker and the not-so-great critical reviews, the lowest out of the entire 9 films, Disney brass began to change their tune. Maybe 192 minutes wasn't so bad if it meant an opportunity to bag even more box office, like they'd done on Avengers Endgame by including additional footage 2 months into release. The game plan had worked on Endgame as early as December 28th, the rumblings started to grow louder. What about releasing the extended version of The Rise of Skywalker into theaters around late January after the fanboys and girls had already paid to see it once or twice? The plan would be to release a longer version that included 3 to 5 additional sequences, then hint at an even longer director's cut for its digital and home entertainment release. With an exclusive run on Disney+, they would draw even more engagement by keeping those added sequences not in the re-releases as exclusive to the service. That would clearly drive even more subscribers to the new streaming service as well. So here we sit, with the JJ cut trending and the internet abuzz, wondering what's real and what's next. The word is this: an extended version of The Rise of Skywalker will be announced in the coming week, releasing near the end of January and including 3 to 5 additional sequences fit into the narrative. This should bring the cut up from 142 minutes to about 165 minutes. The rumored sequences to be included in this cut involve an extended Endor sequence that occurs before the final shot of the current film. Lobot and Lando, and the sequence that predates the chase in the desert, a slew of Ghost Jedi returning alongside Luke and Leia, and participating in the final sequences to unseat the Emperor. This new cut will simply be treated as an extended cut and will include a post-credit sequence highlighting additional sequences that will be released to the official Blu-ray, which will have a special J.J. Abrams director's cut of the film at 185 minutes. When The Rise of Skywalker enters the streaming window exclusively on Disney+, it will include an additional 7 minutes of extra footage that didn't get finished in post-production as a part of an exclusive run on the streaming upstart. That's what we're hearing. As explained at the top, this is from folks on the inside who tipped us anonymously, so you can take that as gospel or drivel. That's up to you. But 3 hours and 12 minutes? Does anyone really need that? My question is, does anyone want that? That's a lot of bad Star Wars. So obviously, this is to make more money because that's what business is all about. But The Rise of Skywalker isn't doing what Disney wants fast enough. Before I get too deep into the weeds about this, I just wanted to say that The Last Jedi backlash was real. Real enough that it was felt by Disney, and they scrambled to make up for the stupid mistake of not only giving Rian Johnson free reign, but not having a plan for this whole saga. I need a lot of time to cover this shit. I hope you're prepared for a lot of content in the coming weeks. But who am I kidding? I know you are. Back to this story. Money is the key reason for all of this. Disney is like an addict. They are chasing the high that was Avengers Endgame. Biggest film of all time, tons of praise, high critic score. It's literally the perfect scenario for every movie. And they want more of that. They want bragging rights. They want the money. But this isn't a Lord of the Rings situation where it's a universally praised film and people want more of something. This is Disney Star Wars, and what people want is for it to go away. The only reason this worked for Avengers Endgame was because it was riding on the goodwill built up over a decade, and even then, Avengers Endgame's extended cut didn't do a ton of business. The Rise of Skywalker's extended cut reeks of desperation and greed. We already know how Disney treated the film as a strict business decision. The runtime was determined to wring out as many viewings as possible in the attempt to make as much money as quickly as they could, before fans realized they were duped. You heard the edicts. Undo The Last Jedi. Why reward the company who allowed it to happen in the first place? There's no new management at the mouse. Kathleen Kennedy still runs Lucasfilm. Iger still head honcho at Disney. These aren't new people paying for the sins of the father. These are the same slimy assholes who ruined Star Wars before. But because they're rushing to clean up their mess, we're supposed to run out to theaters to see an extended cut of a broken film they allowed? No! The Rise of Skywalker is a broken mess that didn't need to be, but was because of the nostalgia gland milking that is Disney Star Wars. Look at the things we didn't get in the film and ask yourself which are wholly original ideas that elevate the story. Arguably, only one of those scenes could elevate the story, but Disney didn't elect to put that in a film. The scene is the Force Ghost scene. I have a whole video dedicated to that and Disney's intentional bastardization of the Force, but that's a topic for next time. And believe me, you don't want to miss, so hit the subscribe button and check that notification bell to all, because the reasoning behind it goes deep. More of The Rise of Skywalker isn't going to save this film. It's not going to magically fix The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Those movies are what they are, disjointed garbage that no one can fix. Don't fall for it. Also, remember that J.J. Abrams is responsible for the nostalgia rehash garbage too, so seeing this new film's cut isn't sticking it to Disney, it's paying to see the same thing you saw last month. Ask yourself, do director's cuts fix every film that gets one? No. I'd argue they do more damage than good. The director's cut of Batman vs. Superman didn't help that movie. It just extended that piece of shit and made that more of a time dump. Was E.T. better when Spielberg took out the guns and replaced them with walkie-talkies? How about the Warriors director's cut? Or Donnie Darko? Or Dumb and Dumber? It gets confusing real fast. None of those are better than the theatrical cut. They were mostly gimmicks to sell you another DVD, or trick you into running out into theaters to see the equivalent of Blu-ray special features. Avengers! Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is all those things and more. It's desperation at its finest. One last dying effort to get you to open your wallet. If Star Wars was a person, it would be Oliver Twist, asking you for more. Just say no. So that's it for today, folks. What do you think about The Rise of Skywalker, the extended edition? I mean, 192 minutes of a terrible film. I don't want it. I didn't even want 5 minutes of this terrible film, but we saw it for the channel, and all 142 minutes, were pretty bad. I mean, we're going to get more Rey Skywalker, more of the Emperor, more of the stupidity. Look, a few additional scenes, some nostalgia, a whole big fistful of member berries shoved down your throat or up your ass, depending on what you're into, isn't going to change the fact that this movie is still Disney Star Wars, this film is still The Rise of Skywalker, and it still follows The Last Jedi, which broke Star Wars so much that even now, almost 3 years later, we're still trying to make up for Rian Johnson's mistake. So for all the people who spent the last couple of years defending The Last Jedi, it's taken Star Wars to places it's never been before. Guess what? You're right. It did. It took Star Wars to the trash dump. It took Star Wars merchandise to the bargain bin. It made Star Wars a laughingstock and a joke, and is no longer the biggest franchise of all time. It used to be the Rolls Royce, now it's the Ford Pinto, and that car blew up on impact. Have you seen The Rise of Skywalker? Tell me in the comments below, and if you have, tell me what you thought of it. If you're one of those people who watch our videos but love Disney Star Wars, you're more than welcome to join us here. We'd love to have you. But tell me, are you excited for more of The Rise of Skywalker? Personally, I am not. I could not stomach another viewing of this film. Maybe one night when I'm drunk and I have a couple hours to kill, I have Disney Plus because I'm a Verizon subscriber. So maybe then I will check out the film and give you my thoughts. But until then, folks, I'm not getting anywhere near that toxic dump heap known as The Rise of Skywalker. And J.J. Abrams, well, I got a lot to say about J.J. Abrams in regards to not only Star Wars, but Disney as a whole and how they fear Warner Brothers and other studios out there. So, like I said, folks, make sure you got your subscriptions turned on to all so you don't miss out. And welcome to 2020. Last year was our biggest year. The year before that was our biggest year. So we're going to do everything. And by we, I mean all of us here in the Fandom Menace, on YouTube, and the community as a whole. We're all going to make 2020 the biggest year possible. So we're starting it out big. We're starting it out fun. And last night's High Council was a lot of great fun. We had Michael from Retro Blasting, and that's one that you cannot miss. So go back, check it out. Go back and watch all of our other old content. Get caught up with our Rise of Skywalker review. And yeah, the original one was 5 hours long, so I'm going to go back and edit down. You know what? I'm not going to edit it down. I'm just going to make a new one, a long-form Mauler-style video, so be on the lookout for that. Also going to do The Mandalorian, and keep pumping out content all the time here on World Class Bullshitters. So, we are the first channel of the Fandom Menace and the epitome of pop culture, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for making that possible for the last, going on 5 years now. It's exciting. 5 years of World Class Bullshit. Well, here's the 10, 15, 20... Well, you can count by fives. You know how it's going to go. I'll quit when we hit 100 million subscribers. So, folks, thank you for watching. And as always, be excellent to each other.